All right, welcome to 49ers Live here on Niners Radio 49. On Niners Radio 49, we're here at Pete's Coffee here in San Francisco. It's the 49ers are continuing to prepare for the take on the Seattle or the New Orleans Saints for this Sunday down up at the Superdome in New Orleans at the Big Easy. That's going to be an early game. A lot of you guys joining us here on Niners Radio 49. We're going to have a short show. Won't be on that long, just to accommodate for Thursday Night Football coming up at the top of the hour, a little bit, 15 minutes past the hour at 5:15 Pacific. It'll be the Washington Commanders taking on the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. It'll be the second game of this season. Week 2, the game will be on Amazon Prime. Al Michaels and Curb Street will be giving you the action. So we're going to have a very short show. This is how we're going to break it down. We'll have Robert Saleh, his coordinating, and Clay Kubiak will be on the podium. This is from earlier in the day to talk about the matchups with the Niners and the Saints. And then in our final segment, we'll have 49ers Kids Club celebration as well. So join us on right now. Albert, how you doing? Glad you joined us. And check us out. You can check us out on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49, youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. So we're going to be, for the next several minutes, we'll be hearing from Robert Saleh and Clay Kubiak from earlier in the day as we'll get you ready for the 49ers and Saints. That will be our Sunday morning kickoff time locally in the Bay Area at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can catch the action on Fox Sports and in the Bay Area. For all Niner fans in the Bay Area, it'll be on KTVU Fox 2, the Fox affiliate in the Bay Area. So right now we're going to, without further ado, we're going to get you ready for the night for the video feed from the press conference earlier in the day. It's Robert Saleh will go first, and then Clay Kubiak second. As we will do the presser from early in the day. Professor B, I hope you enjoy it. You're watching 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49.
What's up, guys?
What can you tell us about Adrian Martinez? They had Adrian with the Jets last year, now he's here. What's the story with Adrian?
Big fan of Adrian's. He's first and foremost, a really good person. He's got a live arm. He's athletic, and he's young in the game, and he's a willing learner. But it's a good player.
He seemed to have some effectiveness rushing from the inside and in the opener. What do you see from him and how he can contribute even with limited snaps at this point?
Yeah, he's as he gets comfortable, obviously coming back from injury will increase his reps. But one thing he can do, he's versatile in that he can play outside and inside. I do think he's very powerful as a pass rusher, but he also has great feet and athleticism to capture an edge. And you kind of saw it. I mean, for a guy who hasn't had really any practice reps or game reps, he went out there and I thought he did really well. So looking forward to seeing how he progresses over the course of the year.
How would you assess Michael's first game? He didn't exactly light up the stat sheet, but he was on the field a lot.
Yeah, he was. There's a lot of things he's got to clean up. There's, when you get into an NFL game plan and it's going pretty quick, there's a lot of assignments, alignments for those guys where they're not just we're not just lining up in the same spot like in years past. There's different things that we're asking him to do, which is a lot for a rookie. And when his feet are in the ground and he knows what to do, he looks really good, and he'll come along. He'll come along just fine. But he on the 40-yard play, got it. You talk about inches on the 40-yard play to at the end of the game. He's about to end it, and that center for Seattle, I think, makes an unbelievable play to save it. But Michael is he's free off the pick, and he's about to end the game. But so he did a lot of really good things, but there's obviously some things he's got to clean up.
Like him more from the inside or from the outside? Do you like what he's been doing from the inside more or the outside?
It's going to be a work in progress for both. He's gonna make his living, at least while we're here, being a first and second down run defender on the outside, and then rushing the passer on the inside. And we think he can rush the passer outside too, but we also think that he can be an elite interior pass rusher, which is very hard to find. Those guys are rare. Even more rare than an edge guy. So he's got great versatility to him, and when you ask guys to go inside out, it does take them probably a little bit more time. Especially when you think of our philosophy, we try to get guys doing one thing and doing it really, really well. He's in a position, and his greatest gift is his greatest curse in terms of his versatility, and we're trying to make sure that we balance it enough so that way he can maximize who he is.
When you consider the Seahawks game, in all three phases, defense did well. Compared to all three phases, defense did well against the Seattle Seahawks. But then you talk to the players, and they're all saying, well, we got a lot to clean up. We have a lot of mistakes that we made that we got to clean up going into the next week. As specific as you can allow, what are some jumps or some improvement that you are looking forward to seeing, even if you can get specific with the player that you're looking forward to seeing it out of in this next week?
You always want to be clean. We gave up 5 explosive plays. And you're never going to, I shouldn't say never, but you're trying to strive to keep it to a minimum. You want to make sure that your assignments are always 100%. The things you've got control over. It is the NFL. You're going to miss a tackle. You're going to lose a one-on-one. That's going to happen. But you never want it to be because you weren't 100% in your technique. You weren't 100% in your effort. You weren't 100% in your intent and violence. So there's that stuff that we have to clean up, and if we can continue to do that, there are mistakes out there that we didn't get caught on, and I think that's what they're alluding. Not I think, but that's what they're alluding to. There's things that you look at on tape, and to the naked eye, no big deal, but to us, it could be taken advantage of by a good offensive coordinator who sees the space that certain techniques are creating.
How did Bosa play up before the final grand finale?
I thought he did it. He was outstanding. I get the sacks and all that stuff, but he was rushing with great power. His run defense was on point. Played smart, and I thought he was awesome.
And can you quantify how big of that final play was by him and how it kind of defines who he is?
Well, it's. I think I've talked to you guys about it before. Like, they're closers, guys like him, Bryce Huff, they're closers. They, I joke about it, but it's also part truth in that, even in baseball, you got this guy who comes in and closes the 9th inning, and he plays once every 30 games, and he's asked to close a game, and he gets paid a junk ton of money to do it. That's that guy. You're in the fourth quarter. Every game's going to come down to one score, and you need somebody to close the game. That's where those interior edge rushers and interior pass rushers come into play.
You have to kind of reinforce that with him going into the season at all?
No, he's wise beyond his years.
What's the key to defending the screen pass? It seemed like you guys identified it and attacked it pretty aggressively.
Effort. It's 11 heads to the ball. It's setting edges on the outside and 11 heads running to the football. It's not one guy that defends the screen. It's the entire defense. And so we always talk about defending screen is about effort. It's as simple as that.
Assessment of the Saints offense.
It's we've played Kellen before. Got experience with him in the past, both here, the Jets, all that good stuff. He's a damn good coordinator, a very, very good play caller. They showed a variety of stuff. They're not just going to sit back and be a vanilla offense. They're going to give you multiple personnel groupings. They're going to jump in and out of tempo. They're going to give you some wonky looks. They're going they're gonna make you work on a lot of things, and they've got the personnel to do it. Alvin Kamara is one of the better backs in the league. Their O-line is very talented. The receivers are as fast as we've seen up to date. And this quarterback, I'm telling you, he's going to be a household by the end of the year. This kid's pretty good. So he's a twitchy athlete. He's got a hell of an arm. He's very decisive in his decision making as he goes through his progression, and he's accurate with the football. So they gave Arizona everything they could handle. So,
You guys won the time of possession in this first game by 16 minutes. How important is for your young defense to play complementary football early in the year?
I think when you it's a great observation. The offense was outstanding on Sunday. That Seattle defense is a bear. They're gonna be a bear all season, and our offense was able to just churn out time. And I've always said that the best defenses in the world are the ones that are on the sideline watching. And our offense was precise. They're in favorable situations. They were converting on third down, running the heck out of the football. Just it was cool to watch on the sideline. It was awesome.
Last week that we were talking about the game slowing down for rookies, and you joked, well, let's see week one. That's when it's really going to speed up. So how did Siegel and Stout do in that regard?
They were good. I thought they did a nice job attacking Stout and giving him some things that you can prepare for. But until the speed of week one happens, there's just little things that he'll be even better on. And Siegel, I thought, did a really nice job. There's things that he can clean up. He was in certain positions that could have left him vulnerable, but thankfully he came out unscathed. So, I thought overall all the rookies did a nice job for their first game, and the key for them is to just continue growing.
Robert, Bosa said you were nervous before that game. I assume you might be nervous before each game, but there was a different level of anxiety. Is that true? And is it just because of kind of the unknown of what that was going to look like?
I'll tell you guys a funny story. So on Monday night, I had a dream that Seattle scored 37 points. It's a nightmare. And I told Gus about it, and he goes, man, only 37? That's pretty good. By Friday, it gets down to about, you keep going down. So, yeah, if you have a conversation with me in the beginning of the week, I'm scared to death. As of now, I think we're going to give up 50. So, but that's just the way we're all wired. Well, at least I'm wired. I'm scared to death, and I need to prepare as good as I can to calm my nerves on Sunday.
Was it junk ton? Was that what you said? Junk ton of money?
Oh, junk ton. Junk. A better word than saying the S word for you guys. You good? All right. Appreciate you guys.
That is Robert Saleh, Niners defensive hit coordinator, how they are preparing. And now there's Clint Kubiak, Niners offensive coordinator.
Of Max since he's been here, and what's kind of his state of readiness if indeed he has to go this week?
Yeah, Mac's he's been really impressive since he walked in the door. Just the way he's kind of first been open to the coaching and open to learning what we do here and the way we coach quarterbacks. Bought in from day one, and you've seen the growth. You saw it in OTAs and then in camp. He had a great camp. And if we need him to play, he's going to be ready, and he's done everything we want him to do. And if Mac gets an opportunity at some point, then I'm excited to watch him play.
He's talked a couple times about just like the need to kind of rebuild his confidence, just in terms of feeling free to cut it loose when you see something and trusting it. Have you seen growth in that regard just over the last 6 months?
Yeah, I don't have anything to compare it to because I wasn't coaching him, but I do see growth from OTAs to training camp to now. You saw a guy who was learning in OTAs, and then a guy who was more confident in camp, and a guy who's fully confident right now. So, his sort of trajectory has been great.
Expectations for rookie this year were high for him to make a second-year leap. His performance in week 1 seemed to validate that to some extent. What have you seen from rookie and just the strides that he's made?
Yeah, I mean, just, the offseason he had, obviously he had some setbacks, but the training camp he had really, and the way he was able to stack days, stack weeks, put together practice after practice and get better. It paid off on Sunday. I think I told Ricky, is like, you're ready to play. You're ready to go out there and make plays, and he did. And now, okay, what's the next challenge? Get a new game plan, go against a new team, and do it again. And that's what he's got to keep doing. So,
You said there was a lot of timing that he had to figure out with Brock from year 1 to year 2. Now with Mac stepping in, how much of an adjustment is that for a receiver to try to kind of get on the same page in one?
it's probably a little. I mean, I'm sure there's some. I think the timing adjustment is more just learning our route tree and learning with whoever the quarterback is, learning the timing of our routes. And whether it's Brock or Mac or anyone, that's there's a growth kind of period to that. And he's still growing, and I think he's definitely more comfortable. So, sure, the quarterback maybe changes it, but I think no matter who's throwing him the ball, he's in a pretty good position right now with all that stuff.
What do you think of Watkins? What'd you think of him this summer? Is he ready to roll this week?
Yeah, we'll see. He's coming off the injury, and he's gotten to practice. I think he practiced once last week, and he's gotten 2 good days in. And so for him, it's about just continuing to put good practices together, and depending on kind of how our room shapes out for game day, whether he gets an op or not. But he's been doing a good job, and we expect him to keep getting better and contribute if he has to play. So.
Only been a couple days, but how has Kendrick Bourne looked, and where do you see him fitting into that group?
He looks good. It's new right now to him. He was here in this scheme before I was here, so there's learning. And with any new player, but he's an NFL receiver. He's a big, physical, strong guy. Got great hands, and he works, and he's got a great passion for football. And so there's a growth period there. He's got to keep getting reps and keep seeing things. But again, we'll kind of see how it shapes out for Sunday.
See from Brandon Staley's defense in New Orleans, what makes him tough to face?
Man, just the way he coaches, fundamentals, the techniques of his scheme is as good as anybody. His guys play extremely fundamentally sound and extremely hard. He does a great job of mixing stuff up. He's not a guy that you really can predict things from a drive to drive. So he kind of keeps you on your toes. He's a super smart coach. He puts his players in a position to play fast. And he's just going to keep you guessing, keep you on your toes as a play caller. And so, he's being around him for a year. He just learned a lot from him, and it's going to be a challenge for sure.
What do you guys, when you don't have George out there, just how do you make up for what he brings, and just how do you approach filling that void?
You don't make up for losing a player like that. I mean, George has been playing at a high level, but you eventually have to get to a point where you move on and you say, okay, what do we have, and what position are we gonna put these guys in that we have now? And so it's not about replacing George, it's about guys stepping up and playing good football. That's just how I see it.
For people who weren't familiar with Jake Tonjes before he made that catch, what makes him good? What makes him an NFL player? What's his skill set?
Yeah, Jake's got great hands, and he's got a route running skill set. For a tight end, he can stretch the field vertical. He's got good speed, but to me, it's his hands. And you saw it in the preseason. He made some really good plays for us in the preseason. So he's got the receiving skill set, and we've been developing him as a blocker, and he's gotten better. And so he's been cool to see kind of grow as a player over these past couple of years.
Were you surprised at all that Seattle stayed with their nickel, and when you guys went to 12 and 21 personnel, that seemed like they stayed with the nickel? Were you expecting that?
Yeah, that's kind of what they do. They do play base, but they're primarily a nickel defense. 21 Witherspoon's, I think, one of the best defensive players in the league. And so them having him on the field in that position, it makes sense. He's a really good player. So, but we were ready for that.
In perspective, that touchdown to Tonjes, what's kind of going through your mind as the play is happening? And
it's like slow motion. You see Brock kind of moving around and buying time, and you're just hoping to see someone pop, and nobody really popped, and Brock threw it up and threw the perfect ball. So it was, it was really cool.
One of those kind of no, yes type of things.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but that's guys need to make plays to win games, and we did. So.
What's your philosophy on 50-50 balls? Because, you got to throw them, right? You want your guy to throw some of them, but you got to take care of the balls. Do you have a philosophy on it?
Yeah, you got to give guys ops to make plays, and that's really it. And guys, when they can't make a play, they got to try to make sure the defender doesn't make the play. And so that's really what it comes down to.
You had McCaffrey out there, I think 58 snaps. Was there one snap in particular that jumped out at you?
Yeah. It's there's always little things with Christian that people don't really notice, but for me, I always look at like the runs where, it's maybe a bad look or they blitz or it's just not the best run look, but Christian finds a way to get 5 yards. So now instead of 2nd and 9, you're in 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 6, and those make a huge difference in a drive. We say the runs that are blocked for 2 that get 4 or 5, and Christian is very consistent at that. So those are the things I see about him. He's a guy who he grinds and he makes things right for us. So
Was the plan to give him? Oh, go ahead.
Actually, I was going to ask what Nick asked, so it got answered. Thank you.
Was the plan to give Christian the ball as much as you did? Is the plan to give him the ball as much as you need to win?
it's a fluid thing, we've talked about this in the offseason. Yeah, you'd love to find ways to give Christian a blow, but Christian doesn't like coming off the field. And you're in the heat of battle, and Christian's making plays for us, and so it's just kind of situational the way that happens. And Brian's going to continue to get more reps because he's coming along and still learning the offense and getting better. So I just think it'll be an evolving thing as we go through the year.
The Saints ran a lot of 5-2 base on last week. What kind of challenges does that present trying to run the ball between the tackles?
Just a lot of big bodies up front, and they have very physical edge setters, and they got big guys inside, and they got 2 really good inside linebackers. And so when you put those 7 guys down there in the middle, it's tough to move them, and so it presents a huge challenge, and that's what we're getting ready for.
What do you see from Jordan James in practice, and how close is he to maybe contributing?
Yeah, we'll see what kind of happens for game day, but Jordan's been practicing really well. I think there's a natural kind of needing to get back into football shape after missing time, but he's been back out there. He looks good to me. It's like anyone else who misses time. They need reps. They need to get back into it and kind of see where they're at. So
circling back to that conversation you had with Ricky leading into the Seattle game, how much of him taking this next step is at this stage more mental and kind of having that confidence that he can be the guy? I mean, he talked about Hank, putting those expectations on him and challenging him in that way.
Yeah, I think any player is just confidence. It's just repetition. It's just going out there and doing it consistently. And when you can do it consistently, you got to believe that you can do it on game day. And that's kind of where he's at. And so I think that's the same for all players, really.
Is there a trophy for the Kubiak Bowl?
No trophy. It's one game. They're on to their season. We're continuing with ours. It's moving on. But it was cool to see my brother last weekend, though. That was nice.
What have been your impressions of Adrian Martinez so far?
It's been really cool to see him get some reps in the scout team. He's a guy who, to me, looks real comfortable. He's a good athlete. He throws the ball well. And, we don't know a ton about him just because he's kind of new here. But from what we've seen, I've been impressed. Cool. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's what you heard from both Robert Saleh and also from the offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. Niners will be taking on the Saints is at 12 noon Central Time, 10 a.m. on the West Coast. And you catch that on Fox Sports on Sunday as we continue right here on Niners Radio 49. We're going to go in more on our coming up next. We're going to take this quick time out, and when we'll go continue, we'll have on coming up. We'll share, or we'll have our next segment. We will hear from the players in the locker room. From press pass from the locker room, from Colton McKivitz and Brian Robinson Jr. Professor B here at Pete's Coffee here in San Francisco. We're going to take this quick time out. You are watching 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. We'll continue on 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. We're going to have a few more seconds. We're going to have this segment with both Colton McKivitz and Brian Robinson, their thoughts with their upcoming matchup with the 49ers taking on the New Orleans Saints this Sunday at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, site of last year's Super Bowl back in last February, where the Eagles defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. And just the reminder coming up, the 49ers home opener will be coming up in 10 days from now. 10 days from this coming Sunday. That will be on Sunday, September 21st. The 49ers will take on the Arizona Cardinals in an important divisional game home opener at the Mecca at Levi Stadium, which, by the way, is the site of Super Bowl 60. Will be returning to the Bay Area. That will be coming up Sunday, September 21st. And the kickoff time will be at 1:25 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can catch that game on Fox. It's a 1:25 game, and also will be marked the season premiere of. We'll be beginning the 49ers tailgate. Will be kicking off our 12th season at the Mecca in Santa Clara, and our 13th season overall. Me, yours truly, Antonio Varla, and the cast of thousands will join you for Niners Radio or 49ers tailgate on Niners Radio 49. Niners and Cardinals coming up for the home opener, coming up 10 days from now on Sunday, September 21st at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Kickoff time is at 1:25 p.m. Pacific. You can purchase your tickets, get single game tickets at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com, your official ticket provider of your San Francisco 49ers. Now in this segment on Niners Radio 49, as we continue on 49ers Live, we will now go to the locker room here from the 49er press box. All the video feed footage is courtesy from 49ers.com. And this segment, we will now hear from both Colton McKivitz and Brian Robinson. And this segment begins right now.
That's why he's here.
Right. Some backup quarterbacks are not technically backups. They're just not the starter. But guys prepare like they're going to start at any moment. That's the type of guy he is. He's been a starter in this league. He's accomplished great things in this league already. So he already has the experience. He already knows what it takes to be a very productive starter. So I'm sure he still prepares like that, day in and day out. So when it's time comes again, he's ready for it.
What's that saying? Don't get ready, be ready.
Stay ready. Stay ready. You don't gotta get ready. It's a great example of how he goes about his business. And can't wait to see what he does with it.
What are conversations like at this point of the season when it's just week 2, you got some key guys out and you got some backups playing, some new faces. When it comes to being able to be consistent with each week and so many new faces and people, what's the conversation like in here in the locker room with you guys?
I think that's something we preach over time. We always make sure guys know that if you're not the starter or the second or third string, you should always prepare like your moment can come at any moment. Like it's a very long season. Stuff happens. You never know if it's gonna happen on week 1 or week 10. That's why you just gotta stay ready. Like if you're a backup or backing somebody up, just gotta continue to prepare like your moment gonna come at any second. So I think that's just a great example. It just happened in week 1. It's unfortunate, but his time is now, and the stuff that we preach, from day one.
Your collective feeling on the offense is that you have nothing but confidence in what Matt can do.
Definitely. I watch how hard he comes in here and prepare, and even like I said, when he's not starting, he's still in here trying to get down the details and get down everything. He will need to start a game. He just plug and play. Something happened, he's ready to step right into that role and take full advantage of it.
How has it been working with Buddy?
It's been fun. It's been exciting, actually. Obviously, old school guy. It's actually been fun. Just getting to know him. Just his mindset. He's been around this game for years. a lot of years, and he has a lot of experience, and it's just exciting to see how much he knows and how much he's in tune to football, especially at the age he's at now. It's like he's not aging when it comes to like his football knowledge and everything. He's super intelligent, especially in the running back room, so he's been doing a great job with us.
What has he taught you? What's one thing that an element of the game that he's taught
I mean, just details. You know, he's very strict about, you know, just details of the small things that, you know, that draws the line between winning and losing. You know, and I respect that. You know, I always respect coaching. You know, if a coach you, he cares about you. And he coaches me real hard, and I appreciate how you've been getting me on point, and getting me up to speed with everybody else.
What's your mindset headed into New Orleans?
1-0, man. You know, whatever happened last week, it's gone. It's behind us. It's a whole new week. You know, 1-0 mindset. You know, 1-0 every day. Like today, you know, we got to win today in order to win on Sunday. So, just 1-0 mindset. Just focusing on what's in front of us right now, and New Orleans. That's the main focus. And 1-0 mindset. That's it.
yeah, that was John's comment in the morning. He's like, all right, now you can go play free. He was talking about it, and when we signed, he's like, dude, I didn't want, as a player, I didn't want that hanging over your head going into it. But I'm sure it would have been on my mind. But obviously, you go out there as a player and you play. But it was a lot more fun to play without that on my mind.
How about this coming game against the Saints? What kind of challenge is Cam Jordan still? 15 years in now.
Hey, got him one last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, Granderson, Cam. They're just a good front. They play very physical. They're going to have the noise again, and it's on turf, so they're going to be juiced up after a loss last week. They're going to expect to come out and play hard, but it is going to be a good front. And Cam just definitely has this. He hasn't slowed down, so it's going to be a good challenge for us up front. And obviously, with Brock being out, we're going to have to be on our best on Sunday, so it'll be a challenge.
What's Mac like in the huddle? What's Mac like? How he likes it?
He's a lot of fun. He's very confident when he comes in with his play calls. Make sure definitely repeats our cadence. So he comes in and runs it. That's what he is. He's a professional, and he's a lot of fun in the huddle too. Obviously different cadences between him and Brock, but he commands the huddle for sure.
How hard is it stuff?
What's that?
How hard is it for an offensive lineman to having different?
The good thing is, it is different to Q1. You get used to one cadence from a quarterback, and then you switch. But I think we do a good job in practice. We go out early, do QC exchange, and get with him. And obviously, we've been doing it since camp, so we get all the different cadences and then a whole week's practice. So it's a little different, but if you lock in on it, it's not really that big a deal.
Colton, Mack seems like not your classic buttoned-up corporate NFL quarterback.
I guess I'd say a long-winded way of saying it, yeah.
How would you describe his personality? And, is it unique for an NFL quarterback?
Yeah, he is. Obviously, he doesn't take it too serious. I think that's one cool thing about him is, even in the huddle too, like, he still laughs out there, he'll crack a joke, but also when it's go time, you can tell he locks in and commands the huddle, like I just said. And he's obviously a lot of fun. He likes to have fun, but he's a winner. He's proven that at Alabama, and then obviously now that we've got him, I think he's going to want to show some stuff on Sunday.
Play for Saban and Belichick. I think you take things serious.
Yeah, you have to. I think you got to have a little fun with it too. So, can't wait to see what he does on Sunday.
Thanks.
When I talked to you last week, you were there at the event with all the kids making their dreams come true, and then you signed your contract, your extension. I just curious to know how much of a dream come true did it seem like that was when you put pen to paper, and what was that conversation like? You talked about setting your family up. What was that conversation with your family?
Septemer beat it to my family, so I was gonna call my parents that morning and tell them before it broke. I woke up to all the texts and notifications. So
you said Schefter beat you to it?
Oh yeah, when they released all the stuff, but no, it's very special for me, obviously, to have that freedom. You spend it right, you fight over a couple millions in free agency. What's the difference? I think if you have a change of lifestyle, then you might need to. But for me, it's a huge confidence boost. Obviously, being cut, going through the adversity that I have, and then showing kids that you can overcome things and you can dream and you can accomplish those things. There's nothing. I kind of took it. There's a couple of pictures of me just kind of looking around the room and taking it all in, because I've been waiting for that handshake for a while, being drafted here and fighting to get back to this position. So to be rewarded like that, it just shows that for me, dreams are, you dream, work hard, you do the right things, and they can't come true. So glad I wasn't a hypocrite for those kids that I tell that, dream big.
Yeah. So what do you say to Adam Schefter when you see him? Dude, you didn't let me have my moment.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a couple of loose lips going into that morning. But no, I mean, it was a late decision on Saturday night, and then obviously Monday morning you wake up to all the texts, and then mom's like, hey, you want to tell us something? And I was like, gotta call her and dad. But no, I mean, obviously everyone was super pumped for me. I think all the guys in here, just they saw how much work I put into it and what I've been through, and for me to have that freedom and be rewarded like that, it's huge for me and my family, and obviously they were stoked. So hopefully in a couple of weeks at a home game, you'll see me at Chevelle. That'll be the one thing I'll be getting myself.
All right, so that was we heard from Colton McKivitz and the 49ers. That's what we heard from sorry about that, a little bit of a delay. So that was you heard from Colton McKivitz and Brian Robinson Jr. The Niners getting ready for Niners and Saints. The kickoff time will be at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's at just like the old days when the Niners played the Saints in the NFC West, those old 10 a.m. kickoff games back in the heyday during the heart of the Niners dynasty. So we are going to right now let's take a break. When we get back, we will have quick Niners news. Came up through the wire a little while ago, and then we'll have our final segment. It'll be 49ers segment off the field, a clip from 49ers, a special segment. 49ers kids celebrate back to football as a great segment as they're, back to school and, doing their thing. So that will be coming up on for our friends at 49ers.com and 49ers Studio. Professor B here at Pete's Coffee in San Francisco. You're watching 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. We'll be right back. Oh, my bad. We're back at. Got to unmute the mic. 49ers, quick Niners news from earlier in the day. They signed tight end Messiah Swinson to the practice squad. 49ers announced that they have signed Messiah Swinson to the team's practice squad. He's 6'7". He entered the draft after signing with the Green Bay Packers as an undrafted free agent back in April. He spent some time with the Packers and with the Carolina Panthers. The 25-year-old from Brookfield, New York, Swinson attended the University of Missouri from 2019 to 21 before transferring to Arizona State University 2022-23. He appeared in 47 games and registered 28 receptions for 317 yards and 2 touchdown receptions. So that is kind of, and then there are also some speculation. Any other news to report on? Trying to think. So we are going to. So that is the latest on the 49ers news for now. Coming up now in our final segment on Niners Radio 49 is 49ers Kids Club. And here's some behind the scenes as they celebrate back to football. This was some event at Levi's AM recently, and we will share you that clip. That'll be our final segment, and it's courtesy from 49ers Studios. And then we'll be right back with you to wrap up another edition of 49ers Live. So we will share you that coming up, and enjoy the clip. All right. That is a segment from 49ers Kids Club. For more information on 49ers Kids Club, please go to 49ers.com/Kids Club. If you have a child want to participate in this activity, go to 49ers.com/Kids Club. That is going to do it for now. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis, the professor here in Pete's Coffee here in San Francisco. We going to wrap up another edition of 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. I know Thursday night football between the Commanders and the Packers are now in progress, so we're going to wrap it up, get you out there right now. If you're watching on Amazon Prime with Al Michaels and Curve Street, we'll have another edition of 49ers Live tomorrow, and we'll have our final, as Kyle Shanahan will have his final presser, his final preparation presser as the Niners get ready to take on the New Orleans Saints in week number 2. And we'll be on location on Sunday. We'll be on location somewhere in the city. Then right after when the game is concluded, we'll have 49ers Live post-game on Niners Radio 49. We'll have we'll have live press conference and recap the game. So hope you enjoyed this another edition of 49ers Live. In case you missed it, you can always go to youtube.com/@Niners Radio 49. And we catch the replay this podcast. So that's it for now. I'm getting ready to Professor B checking out. Latest news on the 49ers and so much more. Go to 49ers.com and check us out on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. As thank you for watching 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49. 49ers Live on Niners Radio 49 is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan, every fan has a voice. The network home of champions. 49ers Live on Niners Radio, faithful to the Bay. Take care, everybody.